The day has finally arrived, you guys. Well, today I am transplanting all of my summer crops, tomatoes, marigolds, herbs, all of that. And I'll be honest, I just got sick of waiting. We had one night where it was finally above 10 degrees Celsius, and now it's back down to 8 or 9 for the next few days, but it's June. So I don't know. I'm probably like many other gardeners out there that it's sink or swim at this point. If they make it, they make it. Today is the day. Let's get to it. All right, so this is what we are going to be working with today. They actually look really good. These are my tomatoes, mostly cherry tomatoes, although I do have 4 or 5 slicer tomatoes in there. And then I've got my basil, which looks amazing. I could probably start harvesting it the way how big it is, because we've been waiting so long with them inside. And then I'm putting in my marigolds, which are now all blooming. Usually I plant them and they bloom in the beds, but it's a strange year this year. And then I do have a bunch of little herb seedlings that I'm going to be transplanting into the pots on the deck. They're a little small, but at this point, we're just going to go with it. So that's pretty much my plan for today. And then these are the pots on the deck. The chamomile has already been sprouting and germinating as it does. These other pots are ready to go. There was a bunch of moss in this one. I just turned it over just to loosen it up a bit. I pulled out the rosemary. I'm trying to remember. It was in here. It didn't come back, which, to be fair, that was probably my fault. I didn't bring it into the garage or cover it in any way. So I just left it out here. And in our climate, I garden in Nova Scotia. That's zone 6A. The winter might have been a little too harsh for it. Next year, I have another rosemary seedling. I bought it. It's over there. But I may end up, if I'm going to try to make it come back next year, but I'll bring it into the garage for the winter. Everything else is ready to go. I also pulled out the thyme. I left some of the roots in there, but the thyme didn't come back either. And the mint and the lemon balm didn't either, which is weird, because mint is usually a tank. I don't know what happened there. But I have a seedling, just one for the mint, and I have seeds. So I'm just going to throw some seeds into the lemon balm pot here. The chives are doing great. They look amazing. You know that you can eat these, right? These little flowers, they're edible. Very, very mild onion flavor. Throw them in a salad. Super pretty. You can saute them if you want. Anywho, and I have a couple of pots that I'm probably going to put flowers in, but I'm not going to do that today. Today is all about those guys. So let me bring all my stuff over to the garden. I brought some stuff a second ago, like the kneeling pad and all of that stuff. It's over there. And let's get to it. Okay, so the first step that I am going to do is add some slow release fertilizer into the beds where I'll be planting the tomatoes. Marigolds don't need it, but the tomatoes will. And which is in this bed over here, and in this half bed over here. And I also have some seedlings that did sprout for cucumbers and melon. I'm going to put them out. There's only like, I think 3 melon, which I know, guys, I said I was gonna not do the melon this year, but there's 3 seedlings that came up. So I'm just going to pop them in. And then I'll also probably put the cucumber seedlings, which they got dry a little bit. Some of the leaves are damaged, but I'm going to try it anyway and add some additional seeds. And I forgot to say, I'm also seeding the beans today. So we're going to be planting beans along the base of the 2 teepees that we installed last week. So let's get going. Let me set you guys up here. I'll bring you nice and close so you can see what's going on. And yes, so fertilizer I use for the slow release. I use the ProMix. I use the ProMix multi-purpose. I do this when I transplant, and then I switch over to water soluble every 2-3 weeks as they're growing. Just pulling out some of the little weeds that I'm seeing. And I'm seeing a huge vetch weed over there. I'll pull that later. Okay, so what I do, my glove is moist, so I don't want to add moisture to this bag. And all I do, I just sprinkle it liberally in the top, and then I'll scratch it in, and then transplant everything, and then water everything in. And this slow release, it's a 733, which is higher in nitrogen. Just to give them a good start. And I'm probably going to put a marigold on each end in this bed. Just make sure I got it everywhere. I think I did. So just the sides. Okay, and then glove back on. I'll scratch that in, just to give it, just to give everything a good start. We had already installed the stakes last week in preparation for today, but it's been a bit of a struggle because the weather has not been cooperating. The nights have not been good enough or warm enough to be able to leave them outside to plant them. So they just kept delaying it by an extra day, an extra day, an extra day. And I said, you know what? Too bad. They're going in. Sink or swim, plants. I had left them out the night before last. I had left my trays out on the deck just to see how they would do. The first night they were out, it got down to 10 Celsius, which is 50 Fahrenheit, and they did fine. Last night it got down to 8. They did fine. I mean, they look great. So there's no night in the next 2-3 days that's going to go down to less than 8. So I figured, you know what? We're going with it. So what I want to do, I'm going to put all my cherry tomatoes here. I'm going to put my larger tomatoes in that bed. But now I have to figure out, let me just grab 2 marigolds because I know I'm going to be planting them one on each end. And then 16 cherry tomatoes in the middle. My problem is that I don't, bear with me, you're probably seeing like my back or something right now. And I usually write, see, this is let me show you what I do. Hold on, I have to take my glove off so I can show you. I basically write what's on, there we go. So this is 2026 and that's buffalo steak. I just write it. And you can see like last year was the sun sugar was in here. I reuse these cups. I've had these cups for years. Yes, I know they're styrofoam, but it's not like I use them once and recycle them. I've been using these for like 10 years. So buffalo is going to go in this bed over here. I'm just going to place them there just so that I know who's who. And then we'll do all the planting at once. So this is sun sugar, buffalo. Oh, I have to do the slow release in that bed too. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to place them for now so I know what's going to go where. What else have we got here? Buffalo. Oh, perfect. So these are all going here. And I feel like my seedlings are doing really good this year. And I think it's because I was really diligent with the fan, blowing on them to strengthen the stalks and whatnot. But I feel like they're doing pretty good. The stalks are huge. They're really solid. I've had years. Oh my God, they're already blooming. Look at this, guys. You see that? Hold on. There's a bloom there. You know that things are a little later than usual. You know what? I'm just going to plant as we go. I'm gonna put this down, plant this guy in here. It's yeah, it was just a strange spring, and I don't think it's normal for for my area. I know I'm kind of new to the area. It just seems a little odd. It was a very long spring. It's like I feel like it's still going. We had a really warm night, a warm day yesterday where it finally got over 20, and 20 is about 20 Celsius is 72-ish Fahrenheit. So, but then it went down to 8 overnight, which is under 50 Fahrenheit. Which is like, what is happening? Right. Oh yeah, I need to plant. When you're planting tomatoes, you got to plant them as deep as you can go. Because what will happen, it'll grow roots all along the stem that's buried. So the lower you can put it, the better it's going to be. I'm going all the way down here. All right, first tomatoes in. It's up to you now, guys, if you're going to survive. All right, what is this? Sweet 100. I'm basically growing the Sweet 100 and the Sun Sugars this year. Those are the only two varieties of cherry tomatoes I'm growing, and Buffalo Steak, the larger tomatoes. Now, one other thing, when you're planting them deep like that, you can cut these off. Just rip them off. It won't harm the plant at all. So what am I doing here? I'm doing 16. So we're going to do 1, 2 in the middle. And then I typically just trying to go as deep as I can. I'm hearing buzzing. That's a good sign. The bees are out. All right. Yeah, so two varieties of cherry tomatoes. And what have we got here? Another Sun Sugar. Yeah, I mean, you could probably leave them underground, these little branches, but I feel like that might encourage rot if you've got like plant matter underneath. If you can remove it and it won't harm the plant, might as well do that. So that's 1, 2, 3. No. I feel like the planting of the tomatoes is the first, not the first sign of summer, but like the true beginning of the growing season. I mean, my spring garden has been in, and you know what? I'm going to give you a quick tour here because it looks amazing now. So, spring garden, back up and not trip over my tomatoes. Like everything looks awesome. Spring. That's what a spring garden should look like. Look at those the potatoes. They look great. Anywho, back to tomato planting. But planting tomatoes, I feel like that's, make sure you can see everything. That's the true beginning of the summer growing season, I should say. Because my stuff's been in the ground for spring since the middle of April. And we had harvested one batch of lettuce for salad. You know what? I'll go on the other side. So far, and that's just going to keep going. This vetch is bothering me. Look at this giant thing. It comes out easily though. This is my border of, and I'm just going to leave it in a pile for now. This is the life of a gardener. You come out to do a task and then you get distracted by other things. Now, technically, vetch is a nitrogen fixer. It's actually good for the soil, but I don't want it strangling my plants. my lavender. Don't worry, you guys. You will be free shortly. Okay, I got the worst of it. Oh, the lavender smells so good. Just rip it out. Okay, I'll deal with that later. Back to tomatoes. All right, so what do we have here? Ooh, sun sugar, sun sugar. And the sun sugar, if you've ever grown it, you know how amazing it is. They're sweet, sweet, sweet tomatoes. Let's get rid of this little branch. And the sweet 100, the sun sugar is kind of like a golden tomato, like orangey. And then the sweet 100 is a bright red, like your classic cherry tomato. And they're just prolific, super prolific, and they do really well. Now, I say that. Last year was not a good year for tomatoes for me, but I suspect, you know what, I'm going to rip this out too. I suspect it was because the bed was new. There might have been a soil issue there, but hopefully that won't be the case this year. We'll see. Sun sugar. And I've always grown like primarily cherry tomato just because you get so much more from the plants. A little bit of light scorch here from when they were in the under grow lights, and they got too tall, and then they started hitting the top of the light. Let me show you what that looks like. If you can see that. Let me make sure you can see that. Hold on. Give me a second. All right. Let me see if you can see that. See that right there, right here? That's just the leaves touching the lights, and it got burned a little bit. Usually I would have planted these like 2 weeks ago, but the weather was just not cooperating. What can you do? All right. I might need to take this one off too. Okay. And we live in an area where there's black flies season, which is now. It's usually about Mother's Day to Father's Day. But today, I have bug spray on today. I didn't want to plant all of this with my little bug net on because it would have been really hot. So we have the DEET. We have the bug spray today just to make it a little bit more comfortable. What is this? Sweet 100. Take this off. This off. All right. Yeah, crazy weather. But it just goes to show, like, if you're a gardener, you're almost at the mercy of Mother Nature. You gotta follow her lead because you can't do anything otherwise. I mean, I could have put them out and cover them, but how would I cover a bed like this? It would just be too problematic. So I've been keeping them inside. And then, well, I got tired of waiting after the weather. It is what it is. Which one is this? It's 2025. Oh, this is another buffalo. Ooh, I have 5 of these. I'm going to plant them here. I'm going to have 5 tomatoes over on that bed. And then the rest will be here. And I gave everybody a good water last night, this morning, just in preparation for their stressful day today. Sun sugar. They'll be fine. Plants are more resilient than you think. Take these off. There's still some water in here. They're tougher than we give them credit for. But like I try to baby them as much as I can, but then it comes to a point where you gotta let them do their thing. All right. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm supposed to be doing 8. I feel like I might not be crowded enough there. We'll see. Keep going. It's funny. I bring out my kneeling pad every time I plant, and I never use it. And yes, my back does hurt at the end. Like tomorrow, I know I'm going to be in pain, but something hurts throughout the whole garden season. It's funny. I say that my yard is my gym. I don't usually do traditional exercise, but everything in the yard, I can do this all day long. And it doesn't bother me in the least. I would rather do this. I think it's because it feels productive. Like if I'm doing something, actively doing something, versus, just running on a treadmill or something, which I get, my God, not do that. So we're going to put one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I feel like I'm going to need to plant a little closer together on the other side. This one's going to go here. Mind you, I can always put one in the middle. You know what? I'm going to do that. We'll do 7 and 7. Grab the little branches off. Yeah, so I could, play in the garden. And this is easy work, like just planting. It's easy stuff, but like it's digging, it's anything of that nature. I just enjoy it. And it was probably because it's outside, and it's pleasant. It just feels better, feels more productive. That guy off. All right. And these, I'll plant the marigold while I'm here. These marigolds get quite large, so I kind of put them on the end and let them like puff over the edge because they get pretty big. Okay, next. And on the other side, I'm probably rougher with my seedlings than I should be. But you know what? If they can't survive a little jostling, then they're not going to do well in the wind outside. They'll be fine. So we're going to put here. Let me just plan this out a little bit. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many do I have here? 12, 13, 14. That's a marigold. I have 3 more. Oh no, we're good. I have 15. That's perfect. I'm going to do 1 here and 2 here. And I need another one. Where am I going to pop him in? Usually I do 1 per square foot. And that's not an issue. Like that's been fine for me. Let me just make sure I don't have any sun sugar. 100. Sweet 100. Sweet 100. And this last one is sweet 100. All right, we're good. Yeah, I mean, I could have planted them and try to cover them somehow, but that is tough to do when they're like tall plants. It's not the easiest thing to do. When you have like a row cover, that's easy when the plants are short, but when they're tall like this, a little difficult. Okay. Oh, it's there. Okay, three more. Three more, and the tomatoes are in. Finally, I've been I've been hardening them up. Oh, there's two plants in here. Oh boy. Okay. Do I split them up? Here, let me show you what I'm looking at. So, I guess I must have missed thinning them. This is what I'm looking at. There are two plants in here. I hate throwing a tomato plant away, so you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna plant it. I will split them up though. I'll split them up, and I'll probably put one in the middle. You know what? I shouldn't do that. I'll put it over where the buffalo steaks are going to be. We're going to go with it. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to move one of these over there. I'll leave it here for now. You just hang out there, little plant. I must have missed thinning. Usually I'll start a couple of seeds per. And to split them up, just got to be gentle and rip the root ball apart. Oof, I don't know if I'm liking this at all. Come on, you guys, you can do it. Ooh, I don't like this. They are grown like really stuck together. They are not coming apart easy. You know what? I think I'm going to have to just lop one off and plant it as is. Yep, executive decision. Gone. Sorry, dude. Survival of the fittest. And this guy won. All right, so that was my bad for not noticing that I had two plants growing in there. It's all good. And I wouldn't plant them both like in the same hole. Like that's not an option I would consider. Just because these plants do get quite large. So I wouldn't, grab the little branches off. That's not something I would do. Like one cherry tomato per square foot is plenty. They will grow into that space quite easily. So I'm not going to overcrowd them. And then I'll bring the other guy back. Sorry for the false hope. Little tomato plant. All right, let me grab the last one. And we'll pop them in at the end there. Right. In this last corner. Take this branch off. All right, last one. All right. Tomatoes, or half of the tomatoes, are in. Let me clean this up. Let me get the slow release. I'm going to have to add some on this side. I'll turn you around. These are all my extra little branches. Get this out of the way. All right, let's spin you around. We'll do the other side. So this is the other side. And I had decided to come back a bit so you can see what I'm doing. I had decided to do, this whole bed was supposed to be cucumbers and melon, but because I had so many extra tomatoes, I decided to keep them and plant them and just do half of this bed with the extra tomatoes that I had. And then I made the decision I'll put the buffalo steaks here and all my cherry tomatoes over there. I'm just taking my glove off so I can add this in. Okay. Close this back up again. I find that, those bags that, they have that little Ziploc thing, they never work. So I use clothespins. I use them for everything. I use them for like chip bags and any kind of bag that doesn't close properly. I use clothespins. They're cheap. You get them at the dollar store in like a bag, the wooden ones. Okay. And then once the planting is done, I will come back and water everything in. Oh, another little weed. Whoosh. Another little weed. I feel like if you weed as you see them, it becomes a lot more manageable over time. All right. Now, we have 5 of these guys, and I'm probably putting a marigold here too, so I think I'm going to go, where am I going to go? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, and my extra one I'm going to put there. I think that'll work fine. And I'm noticing that this branch is yellow. Too much water, probably. Take the branch off. And start on this side. As deep as you can go. And I don't, for cherry tomatoes, I usually don't put, I don't tie them like one plant per stake. I've tied like more than one to the same stake as they're growing and as they vine out. These ones, I don't know. I did put one per stake because these are the larger tomatoes, but we'll see how that goes. Not sure. I don't grow the larger tomatoes very often. I'll usually have like maybe one plant per season, but I wanted more this year. So we're going to see, and if that means I need a new new system. Like, I'm not a fan of the cages, but if that's what I have to use, then next year I will consider getting some. All right. And because these are larger tomatoes, I'm leaving the marigold there. I'm not placing them here like I did in the cherry bed, just to give them a little bit more room. Okay. Oh, it's a nice day. It's like it's going to be overcast today, which is perfect for planting. It doesn't get, they won't get scorched by the sun. Although they've been living on the deck during the day for like 2 weeks now, waiting for the weather to cooperate. So I think they'll be fine in the outside. It's the nights that I was stalling. Like it was just crazy. It just wasn't warm enough. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll put the fifth one here, and then we're gonna move on to the other stuff, other goodies that I have to plant. Ooh. All right, tomatoes are done. Clean up my mess. Now I'm going to pop in 2 marigolds in here. Am I putting a marigold over there? I think I should, because this half for sure, because it's for the tomatoes. This half is going to be cucumbers, and I am going to put my 3 little melon seedlings just because I have them. I'm going to put it here. I like adding marigolds because it does deter pests like whiteflies and hornworm and all kinds of stuff. All good things. Let me see. I'm going to bring you, well, you can watch me plant this one. This one's right here. And this one is just as deep as the root ball is. You don't have to go deeper like you do a tomato. And like marigolds, they have a scent. They have a smell, which is probably what helps deter the pests, to be honest. But it's not my favorite flower, but it is functional. I mean, it's pretty, but to me, orange and yellow, those are fall colors. I don't usually plant anything in my summer garden. You know what? Maybe I'll put you over here. That's like yellow or orange or anything like that. Just because I've always felt that's fall. But for pest deterrence, we're going with it. I've been doing that for years. And it is nice to see like a little pop of color in the garden. Most stuff is green, but having those little pops of color in the garden, it does make it nice and cheerful. Okay, now, oh, there's a little weed. Pull that out. Next thing, I think I'm going to go around and pop my marigolds here and there in the beds. Let's go take a walk and see where I'm going to put these things. I'm going to come back and plant the seedlings for the cucumbers, melon. I'll probably throw some seeds in just in case those the seedlings don't do well. So I'm not going to put any. Am I going to put one in the potato bed? I might. I see a little hole right there. Right there. I might pop one in there. While I do that. I'm not going to put any in the garlic because like garlic is a deterrent in itself, so I don't feel like I need to. I'll probably pop one into the blueberry beds. In the lettuce, the beans. I won't touch the carrots. Will I? Let me see if I have room in here. Oh, there is a spot there. I probably could put it in here. And this is the carrot bed. And I do see there's room in the middle here. I might pop one in. Strawberries I don't because it's covered already. Same thing with this one. So I'm not going to put any marigolds in there, but I'll probably put it everywhere else. Okay, so let me do that. I have a few. Let me set you up over here. I see you wandering around the garden. Put you out here near the fruit trees. So I ran into audio issues yesterday. So this is the day after, and I just wanted to walk through everything that I did end up doing and to take a peek at the tomatoes to make sure that everybody survived the night. It went down to 8 Celsius. That's about 1632, 48 Fahrenheit. If that's wrong, I'll put it up on the screen. But everybody survived, so that is good. And let's come over here. This is the second batch. These were the buffalo steak tomatoes. That's looking good. So what I wasn't able to catch yesterday are these. So these 3 are the little melon seedlings that came up, and I know I said I wasn't gonna plant the melons this year, but they sprouted, so I plopped them in there just to see what would happen. And then I had cucumber seedlings come up, but they got damaged by, I don't know if it's dryness or whatnot, but I'll show you an example of what happened here. So it's got good leaves, but on one side it was dry. I pulled these off before I planted them. So they all have that. So these are a type of cucumber, and obviously they're really tiny right now. Look, they look okay, but they're like early days. So on this side, I seeded the cucumbers that came up, but I also seeded some extra of a different variety on the other side just to see. So I did that yesterday, and then we also, hold on, let me bring you over to the beans. We also seeded the green beans. So I did this in around my spinach bed, which this is all going to be done by the time the beans start climbing. I basically planted 3 little beans. I'm doing Blue Lake pole beans around each pole of the teepee. And I did the same on this teepee and on this one. Over here. This one still has some really young lettuce seedlings. And the rest of the lettuce is looking really good. I'm hoping that this lettuce will be helped with a little bit of shade from the beans once those start growing. And if it gets too hot here, our lettuce just bolts. It doesn't do well if it's hot. This lettuce will be done probably by the end of July. It gets really hot and then it's just going to bolt. But I'm hoping that by the bean teepee, that the foliage of the beans and the leaves and whatnot will provide a little bit of shade, and the beans will do better. So the good news is that everybody survived the night, which is good. Even the little marigolds, they're doing well. Those are pretty hardy. They're still an annual here where I live, but they're all doing okay. And I wanted to come out. I was looking at the footage yesterday, and my mic cut out, and I think it's because when I put the camera for you guys over here and then I walked all the way to the other end, I think it lost connection to my microphone to the pairing, which is connected to the camera. Anywho, it's all good. So I'm happy that the tomatoes survived. Everybody's looking good. No more worse for wear. It's the first thing I do in the morning, like after the planting day. If you know, you know. You've done it too, you guys. Just to check to make sure that all the babies are okay. That they survived the night. And I'm glad everything looked good. Now I'm going to go pop up on the deck to show you what we did with the herbs. Alright, so this is an oregano seedling. So transplanted that. The chives were already there. They came back from last year. This is the lemon balm that didn't come back for whatever reason. I find that really strange. But I did just throw in some extra seeds in there for lemon balm because I like to dry it to make tea. This is the mint seedling. Planted that. And I have 2 pots of Thai basil, which I didn't realize that I planted this many, but here we are. And hopefully this year I'll use it. Last year I grew it, but I didn't harvest it. I was just admiring the plants. So this time I'm hoping to be able to use it. This is dill. If you've been following along since last year, at least now, this time, I know this is dill and I didn't mess up the seeds. Last year I planted a huge amount of parsley, unintended to plant that much parsley because I mixed up the seeds. But That's dill, for sure this time. And then the basil. I have 2 pots of Genovese basil. I have 3 seedlings in each. Oh, this one's looking a little rough, but that's okay. There's new growth in the middle there, so I'm not too worried. I won't pull those off now. I don't like pruning or pulling things off. It's going to rain later today. Later this morning, it already rained overnight, which I'm sure the plants were happy about. Here's the, oh, I should say why. I don't like pruning or cutting or giving plants any wounds before a rain, just to prevent any kind of disease or rot or whatnot. Encouragement to get into the plant. Rosemary, looking spry. Chamomile reseeded itself, came back from last year. Already starting to bud up, which is awesome. And this is 1 parsley. I don't need 50 million parsleys. 1 is sufficient. And then I did end up planting up my flowers. This is a Cape fuchsia. I've never grown it. It already looks happier outside. I've been keeping it in the garage and hardening off, bringing it out every day. And like this is the second, last night was the second night it was outside. And it looks fabulous. And I planted it up with some euphorbia just to give it a little skirt, a little oomph. And then this is a dahlia. It had 1 bloom when I got it, but it's spent. I snipped it off yesterday, but it's already starting to put on some new ones. It's a bright, bright pink. Looks really cool. Ooh, windy. Yes. So, let me get up here. I wanted to come out and just do a little quick tour, check on everybody, make sure everything's okay. And that's it. Let me tell you, with the weather we've been having and the cool nights, just spring hanging on for dear life, I just said, yesterday was the day. Sink or swim, you guys. It's the sink or swim garden this year. Just because the weather has just been not atrocious. It's a typical spring, but the nights have been hanging on. And if you're anything like me, if you're still waiting, you might just have to bite the bullet and get everything out there. But if you're more patient than I am, my heart is with you. Hang in there. Happy gardening, everybody.